Hi everyone. I'm still a little dizzy and a little confused. I have really bad issues with my balance right now. I've had this happen to me twice already in the past. This is the third one, and each time it involves the same drink. It's non-alcoholic. It's just a normal soft drink. It's this mixture of vitamins with orange juice. And it's nothing really you think it is so out of the ordinary that you would become sick from it. But the last three times I have drunken it, I have become deadly ill. Last time it was 18 days. This time it was 4 days. Lucky for me. I am so sick I can't stay awake. When I am awake, all I am doing is throwing up continuously. It's a living hell. I'm jumping in the shower to get warm. I'm having cold spells, hot spells. It's a real torture. Anyways, I might just. I have no idea how long I'll leave this open for. We'll see. Just thought if anybody wanted to talk, we could. You all know where I'm at, where I've been the last couple of days. I'm telling you, this drink is so strong that it makes me sick. And the first thing that happens is I throw up my stomach. Everything that's in my stomach, down to the last drop, comes out. And I'm not talking over time. I'm talking in one go. That I'm really sick and I'm just waiting to throw up. But when I do, it's like 6 liters of, or maybe like a gallon and a half of gunk coming out. It's a lot. I don't know if it's the drink itself or not, but there's something really wrong. I know it's the drink. I just don't know what it is inside the drink that's making me very sick. But anyways, I didn't realize what I was drinking when I was drinking it, and after I drank it, it's like, oh no, is that energy drink up again? And I was pointed out that yes, it was. And then, well, I got sick about 3 hours after that and went home and started puking up the place. I'm still not fully recovered, folks. I am nowhere near recovered. I am super exhausted. But I thought, yeah, excuse me, sorry about that. See, I am super exhausted. I thought it would be a good time just to talk to my viewers because, yeah, what else can you do when you're just laying around recovering from being sick? Anyways, if you ever hear a drink called Extron, Extran, that's what makes me sick every time. I can't even have a half a teaspoon of it, or I end up throwing up everything. I'm not sure. My body rejects it so hardcore, man. I mean, I've been sick before off of food. Like, I'll eat at dinner, and then like 20 minutes later, I'll feel like I have to throw up, and then I throw up my dinner because there's probably some GMO food in it. But when I drink that Dextron stuff, I actually start to get chills down my spine first, then in between the shoulder blades. Then I start having delusions, serious delusions. I was having really weird delusions this time too. And it was a continual 3 day delusion. I didn't even know what day it was. I just found out by looking at the calendar, like, whoa. The balance problem is really bad. You have absolutely no control over your balance. Ugh. I'm glad it's over with. It's moments like that, man, you almost wish for death. You know, speaking about that, well, I don't want to make this a Bible video, but I've learned a lot of cool things about the Bible this week. You know what, folks? We are living in a gynocentric world. I'm looking right now at man's biggest enemy, possibly becoming the president of the United States of America. As I've all told you for the last 2 years, I do not believe that females have the right to vote because they don't have to be drafted. They don't have to live up to their vote. If 49% of the voters are male and 51% of the voters are female, then all the person has to do to get their vote is to play on their emotions. For the globalists, man, Operation let's just say Operation Multicultural really panned out well for them because now we got women in America who are crying out about women being raped in India. I hope you understand that's insanity. It's okay to be concerned for them. But don't you dare go around treating your own men like that. What's the matter with you? Not even a little kid would do something that stupid. That's just a whole other kind of stupid. We would actually call that diabolical. Insanity. I think I'd rather stick to diabolical. It's cherry picking throughout the world what you can use against men as a weapon. Don't you all understand there's going to be repercussions and backlash from your own female behaviors? I do know that the narcissist never looks at what they themselves do to cause an issue. I've seen it all the time, man. I recently dealt with it on my own self with a person I know in a video game. His name is Ulti Messio. And Ulti, he was a normal, average guy when I first met him. Nothing special, just an average gamer, right? So we're playing in the game together, and all seems to be fine. Then he decides he's going to throw. Oh, we both live in Europe, in Holland, by the way. So he decides he's going to throw a friendly football rivalry at me, and he tells me that the town I live in sucks. I'm like, well, that's your opinion if you think it sucks. I don't think it's that bad, otherwise I wouldn't be living here. But he kept on going, thinking it was just okay to keep attacking my town just to rile me up. So we got a person here who finds it okay to rile other people up. But it's not okay to do that. I can list you a top 10 things that people do list, and you wouldn't even understand, or actually, you'd be shocked to find out how many of these behaviors are listed as psychopathic traits. You know the world is becoming more psychopathic, right? It's not a joke. People's IQs are dropping. They're becoming more like animals. That's psychopathic. And I want to say to all the men, you don't label somebody as something without knowing what you're talking about. And it goes the same thing for Christians. Nobody actually calls himself a Christian and wears the label without backing it up. So if they don't want to back it up, you know they're full of crap. Recently with my friend James, he likes to come to my Facebook and tell me what movie he's watching. Whenever it's a biblical movie, he'll appear on my channel. And then he talks to me and says, I'm watching that new religious movie. Like, I want to make sure that you're aware of the fact that I'm watching this movie. And it's like, why are you even telling me this? I don't really care what movie you're watching. If you're watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you would have been contacting me saying, hey, I'm going to watch Who Framed. No. But if you're watching a religious movie, then you come to me and say, hey, I'm watching this new religious movie. Anyways, he kept arguing with me, saying, I didn't really come to your channel just to tell you that I was watching this movie. So yeah, you did, because that's why you're here. People lie to themselves nowadays to convince themselves of something that's not true when they're confronted on exactly what they're doing. And then they call you a freak because you're confronting what they're doing and you're rejecting what they're doing compared to everybody else who accepts what they're doing. It's a pretty fucked up situation. I've been hearing people say to me lately, "You're quite bizarre, Warden Sawyer." And I have to keep saying to them, "Yes, I believe that you think that, and that you're right to think that." Why is everybody up in everybody's grill lately? Everybody's business is everybody's business. I have a nice little shotgun that says that's not true. My family business is my own family business if I have one. Point being is, stay the hell out of my life, and I'll stay the hell out of yours. You know, we could be friends, and that's it. But don't try to take your shit and dump it in my life and think that I'm going to swallow it. I only know of one thing good that's going to happen if Hillary becomes president. Who wants to hear it? The only good thing that's going to happen if Hillary becomes president is that America is going to start accepting truth. You see, Hillary's going to be, she's going to make both Bushes and Obama and Reagan look like the best presidents ever. She's going to be the worst. Just watch. I heard over 100 women this month just say that she would pick Hillary because the world is ready for a female president. So, if they're so ready for a female president, why is there only one female wanting to become president? You know, we always like to say it's because it's been a man's world, but maybe females lack the leadership role, lack the education needed. And it could just be that the NWO right now is using her like they used Obama to keep their agenda in play. I hope you all know. I hope you know that it doesn't matter what you vote. It's the vote counters that make the vote. So even if it's we already know Hillary's going to win. Okay, we already knew this in 2014. Just give it up already. But no, we knew this in 2013, really. And even then, I made videos about Hillary or Hillary's, really. And I'm not going to come to you with pretty pictures. I'm just not going to do all that. I'm just going to keep it simple and talk normally. I don't have any desire to put a bunch of pictures up or show you anything. Because the truth of the matter is, either you see it now or you don't see it. But if you don't see it, it's because you're doing it on purpose, not wanting to see it. So I'm not going to try to convince anybody of anything. You're on your own. But when too much nastiness starts taking over truth, this is when truth rises. You see, truth always starts to rise right when things hit its pinnacle of corruption. Now, I don't like the man very much, but Mr. Snowden is the proof of my point. That when everything hits the fan, and nobody knows up and down anymore, left and right, truth rises right then and there. And I don't care if you believe me or not, I'm still telling you, that's what happens. And I can actually prove this, and you cannot prove it. But I can prove to you that throughout the history, when things got to its pinnacle, where war broke out, Civil War, World War II, and World War One, they all broke up and broke out, right at the pinnacle of corruption. This is the curse that God put on the devil in the first place, that he would always lose. What they are doing right now is that they are dumbing down the people. making the people very stupid. So they no longer will use logic and their own common sense. Common sense is absolutely dead in America. Absolutely. It was proven when you voted in Bush Sr. Then you voted him in again. Then you got Clinton. Then oh man, it just kept steamrolling downhill from there. But you're all hung up on false promises and earthly riches. You know, when I showed this video up from April Cassidy on my channel, and I labeled it, I told you that feminism is satanic, to trick you all into watching it. Nobody left a bad comment. They all left positive things about this female, which is freaking odd when you believe that they are MGTOW. Nobody had a bad word to say about her. So like I said before in other videos, I pretty much said it in every other video, I want a man right now to have the nerve and stand up and tell me, seriously, if you are a guy right now, listen closely. I want you to tell me if I'm wrong. Would you, if the laws were still different, back to before that you can basically get screwed by the woman without doing anything wrong and losing half your stuff, pretty much before no-fault divorce, would you want to marry a woman that's a Christian woman, the real deal Christian woman, such as April Cassidy, or would you still be picking every random woman? You see, family life comes from Judaic Christian religion. The life from families seriously came from Judaic Christian religions. It didn't come from Islam, and it did not come from ancient paganism. You all are fighting off the patriarchy, and you don't even understand the word patriarchy is another word for God. So when you hear the feminists out there saying, get rid of the patriarchy, they are saying get rid of God. Now, you can get rid of God if you want to, but when you see your country falling apart, it started to fall apart from the moment you got rid of God. Are you going to deny that? You know, it takes more effort to denying God than it does to believe in Him. It takes less courage to believe in Him. It takes more courage to keep standing up against Him, because you know people aren't going to like that. Because you know you still live in a Christian valued nation. I mean, you all keep using Christianity as a piñata. Oh, there's another stupid Christian again. Oh man, not this guy. He's a pathetic fool. He's a Christian. Don't listen to him. It's sad that people want to go down this road. Real sad. It just shows to me that you don't understand what God is and who God is. He is someone very unique and very powerful. And I would like to spend the next couple of weeks really talking about him. Because the atheists out there who I've spoken to don't know what they're talking about. Or they use the wrong version of a Bible. Because if I went out and I bought the NIV, and I didn't know better which book I was buying, I'd be really screwed. So if I only had a King James, and then you bring the NIV to me, you can understand why I laugh at the NIV. I mean, the Septuagint is the best book. But when people say the Bible has been corrupted, it's been corrupted twice. Once that created Quran, which is the reverse of the real Bible, so that's a corruption. The Quran is a corruption of the Bible, where the bad guy is the good guy and the good guy is the bad guy. But then if you take the NIV Bible, it's basically a feminized biblical book. It's where men look really pathetic and stupid and weak, and the females come off as great leaders and primary caretakers and just a bunch of stuff that's not true. When you got presidents out there playing on people's emotions, you know that they are predators. If you got presidents or candidates out there that keep promising you the world but deliver you absolutely nothing but misery, well, then you know right there that you're dealing with a complete psychopath, and you don't have to deal with them. You can simply say no. You cannot vote for them. You can also vote against them. And if there's nobody to vote for, then you shouldn't vote at all. That's actually that would be the best punishment right now for the American government is that nobody voted. And that would be the best ultimate payback. But of course, that will never happen. Too many Sims out there and too many young women out there that would want to make sure that Hillary becomes president because she's a woman. Did you know that one of the back in the days of slavery, back on the plantation, folks? Did you know that the women, the black women, used to actually work inside the house and they bossed the men around all day long? That and the Nazis, they had their own special female crew. You know, females have this thing of persuasion, and it can actually be seen as a magical device, really, if you know how to control it in that way. But the thing is, with female persuasion is it's very easy to control. They have researchers today who research how they can train women to turn against you, and that's what they're using. That's what they're using the television for. They're changing the way that the females look at you. You are no longer just a human being. You are a commodity to them. You have the money. They want the money, so they have to use something in between your money and their bank account. What are they going to do to lure your money into their bank? They're going to use women. You know, folks, there's so many things that are just not right with the way that people see women at all. And Mr. Craig asked me how did I get brainwashed for 6 months because she was a really good actor. The best one I've ever actually come across. I've come across a bunch of them and I've dumped them on the spot. And plus, she played the really sad card constantly where I had no place to go if you kicked me out, blah, blah, blah. I got sick of that really quick, too. The point is, she got beaten the shit out of for pulling this on me, and she deserved every bit of it. Point being is, man, it's just high time that you learn to take care of yourselves and wake up. You matter. I know you'd like to think in a world today where having children and then having them ripped out of your life is something that goes on in this world. But it doesn't mean that you have to stand up for it. You could also see the world for what it really is. I don't like fake Christians either. Ones that just come to the channel pretending to be a Christian. Then you find out that every argument they have is to try to disprove God. It's like, why are they even arguing with me? They've been trying to argue for 6,000 years that the Bible's not accurate, and they've been failing ever since. They have always felt the fruit that even your highest order of people in the world today, the ones that rule your music industry, the ones that run your media world, your television, your movies, all of these people have religion in their life. They're actually using it against you. Disney Pixar sold out too. They used to make pretty reasonable movies. I mean, Toy Story was pretty nice. And then you find out also that Toy Story, it has a bunch of, a lot of military stories in it, such as the Cowboys and the Indians. They actually reenact that. And then Buzz gets kicked off the bed, and only Woody's sitting on top of the bed. That pretty much happened in the 50s. The children didn't want to play with any more cowboy dolls, but they wanted to play with uh, rockets. You see, the 1940s child was, well, he was a child of God's. But come the 1950s, he became this little nerdy kid. And I don't know if you all noticed anything about nerds. When you looked in the movies in the 1980s, there were a couple movies called Revenge of the Nerds. And I think you all should watch that because a lot what they're doing in that video is accurate. Females do not deserve to wield power, nor do they have any rights whatsoever to common law, into common law alterations. They don't have the right to do that, nor do men. So why are we allowing them to come into our society and turn everything on its head, then just walk out and wait for the attention? And then before you know it, 20 seconds later, you have a beep on your Skype and she says, add me. So you try to prove your point and it's like, it's not getting in. You see, you can't play the game, you just got to get rid of them. They have no respect for themselves, for you, for their brothers, for their sisters, nobody. What does God say very clearly about wanting everything in this world? Does God say it is better to be born poor or born rich? You are living in a world today where Satan is the ruler and you are answering to him. How many videos I wrote in this about doublespeak? Many of them. You all don't understand the connections you have to him. You can make it as a pop star in Europe at the age of 7. Seriously bizarre world we're living in. You know, as a Christian, I am in full belief that the planet Earth is only 6,000 years old, and I also believe that God protects every single man out there that loves them. Now what just happened? Oh, seriously bizarre world we're living in. Yeah, this voice is fine. I can't believe how just female indoctrinated the whole planet has come. That men drop out of school, and it's like 73% now that go to American colleges are female. Really amazing. There must be a lot of dykes nowadays growing up in school in America too, because the American government is doing everything they can to make the whole country think that they're unisex. If you want to destroy a country, you have to weaken it from the inside. And that's what we were seeing very clearly. Well, nobody seems to be online, and I got a lot of healing to do. So you all have a good evening. Take care. See you all later.